Charlize Theron teams up once again with Jason Reitman, the director, and Diablo Cody for this movie that actually came out in 2011, and I'm talking about Young Adults. Young Adults is written by Diablo Cody and directed by Jason Reitman, also starring Charlize Theron. The writing and director duo would be the ones who did Juno before this, and they would go on to do Tully, which I absolutely adored last year, which also starred Charlize Theron. Young Adult is the story of Mavis Gary, who is a ghostwriter for a young adult novel, who is a 37-year-old alcoholic, who one day gets a letter or email from her old friends in her where she used to live, and finds out that her used-to-be boyfriend, Buddy Slade, has a child, and she takes it upon herself to have the eureka moment where I'm going to go back to my old hometown and take my boyfriend, or my high school love. And yeah, that's what this movie is. This is a really funny, witty drama comedy where Mavis, Charlize Theron's character, is a complete bitch. She is a writer of a failing adult novel series that's about to get canceled. She's an alcoholic. She's in her late 30s, and she decides out of the blue, just because she's feeling sorry about her life and what's going on with herself, that she's going to go back and steal her old boyfriend, her high school boyfriend at that, right after he just had a kid. There is not a lot to like about her, but there is a lot to like about Charlize Theron in this movie. She plays the role perfectly. This is a role that kind of reminded me of Anne Hathaway in Colossal, where she plays this stumbling drunk, but at the same time you're supposed to like her because she is our protagonist. The difference there, well, there's no kaijus in this movie, but the difference is that Charlize Theron looks a mess when she wakes up. And there are a couple montages where you see her getting ready so she can make herself look good. Along the way, while she's trying to get her boyfriend back, she runs into another old high school friend, or person who used to go to high school with her. They didn't run in the same circle, by the name of Matt, played by Patton Oswalt, who was a geek in high school, and I won't spoil why, but he's more or less disabled, as he has to walk around with a crutch all the time. And he's kind of the center of the spirit of the movie, as you have Mavis, who is this emotional wreck, but at the same time she's also coming from the big city. She lives in Minnesota, and she's going to move back. She's going back to the small town of Mercury to see, as she says it, all these hillbillies and all these rednecks who are still in that town. And Matt, by Patton Oswalt, he's kind of like, well, he's there for a specific reason. Like, he couldn't leave. She got to leave. He can't, really. Her boyfriend, Buddy Slade, is played by Patton Wilson, of all people. I guess he got tired of playing in horror movies. Well, he was also in Aquaman recently. So there's that. And he just plays like... At first, when I saw the movie, I was thinking he was just as gullible as hell man. But he's not, as you realize what's going on, especially later in the movie. You realize he knows what's going on. And he's just being nice without being a terrible person towards Mavis. And this is an unapologetic movie about wanting to go back and claiming what's yours, or what you believe is yours. Mavis' character wants her boyfriend. She doesn't care what he has. There's a very good scene in the trailer that's also in the movie where she goes, where Patrick Wilson tells her, I have a wife and kids, and she just looks at him and goes, I know, I can save you. Meanwhile, all she's looking is for saving for herself. this movie has a really good wit about it as far as character dialogue. There are a lot of uncomfortable scenes, especially when you have Mavis's character walk into Buddy's house and says some of the most uncomfortable things you would ever say in front of someone else's significant other. And she does it unabashedly. She doesn't care. She wants what she wants. And that's it. I will give this movie a ton of credit also, because in a movie like this you would feel like the character would learn a lesson, grow up, and change. And this movie does some of that, but keeping the character the same person we saw at the beginning of the movie, even while learning a lesson. There's a really good meltdown scene at the end where Theron's character is just like, it just hit her. She has that moment where she realizes she's wrong and she's not going to get what she wants. And everything caves in on her and she just explodes. And the scene is really good. It's really powerful, and it's also kind of, you're sitting there going, oh, you just embarrassed yourself. And it was yeah, I really like that. There's also a scene near the end where in a movie like this, or most movies like this, you would expect the character to exemplary growth. Oh, da-da-da-da, you have to grow from where you were. And in this movie, there's a wonderfully written scene where a character tells her, you're right. This town is terrible. You're so much better than us. And you should be proud that you moved to the city and you got out of here. Once again, I won't say how the scene ends, but the scene ends exactly how Mavis would end the scene, and not how someone in a different movie would end the scene. This movie is really profound. It's really funny. I had a really good time in this. I would almost say this is definitely a companion piece to Tully, because I can see that character used to be this character. If you look at it, I can see these two characters connecting in some way or the other. I love this movie. I hope Diablo Cody and Jason Reitman and Charlize Theron get to do another movie together. I would fucking so be there. I want to give Young Adult a 8.8. I really love this movie. This is fun. I kind of wish it was, this is something I haven't said a lot recently, kind of wish it was longer. I wanted to see more of this character and a little bit more of the fictional town of Mercury. Some people might have an issue with the last scene with Patton Oswalt's character and Charlize Theron's character. I think it was a nice bookend for the reasoning that she went to Mercury in the first place and her reasoning to get the hell out of there. This isn't a movie that you'll sit there and you'll show your daughter or anyone like that, this is how you should act, but you would show someone, this is how people really are. Like, by the end, Theron's character does learn a lesson, but she is very much the title character. She is a young adult. And like the title of on the box says, some people grow old, but you don't necessarily grow up. That's perfect reasoning for this movie. Yeah, I like young adult. Did anyone else see this movie? If you did, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of it, and if you think this would be a good companion piece with Tully. So yeah, like, subscribe, and talk to you later.